So as far as Great Southern Homes and other home builders around the area are concerned, there are only, in regards to the amount of people it takes to run this entire operation, there are really only a small percentage of actually Great Southern Homes employees, okay? The majority of them are vendor partners, and they are our partners because we're all in this together. If one person screws up, the entire train can come to a halt, okay? So, we are home builders that are paid by Great Southern Homes, and it is our job essentially to make sure our vendor partners do the job correctly and make sure we deliver a quality home. Our vendor partners are held to a high standard by us. They have certain inline inspections that they have to do just like we have to do. So that all goes back to the big thing about how many people it actually takes to run this operation. It is a lot outside of just Great Southern Homes.
I think that work in this industry are based on sex or ethnicity. I think if you like to work with your hands, I don't think it matters whether you're a man or you're a woman or black or white or Hispanic. So obviously there is a lot of Hispanic, but I'm just saying, don't feel like if you're a minority or a lady or that you can't work in this industry. If you want to work, I'm telling you, it's there. And the opportunity is maybe even greater for you because there aren't as many to compete with.
Believe it or not, we have females that do our job. In the upstate, in particular, there are 2 females that are home builders. Melissa in our office is one of our managers for our warranty department. There's a warranty department at the home site. So the more you talk about, there's a ton more people that run this operation. So yeah, this is a conglomerate. So we need good people. Like you were saying earlier, if you show up and you want to work, you got a job. If any of you watch the news or anything like that, 4-year degree people are really not going into what they went to school for to begin with, and their student loans are so outrageous they couldn't even get a decent home until that's paid off. Okay, so there's a lot of companies looking for 2-year degrees at the most, and even just on-the-job training, really as much as even a 2-year degree. And this is the industry to do it in. So.
Some of these studs that have X's on them, take a level or a straight, something straight with a flat edge, and we run it across the wall and make sure there's no bowing in any of the studs.
You ever seen humps in your drywall in a house you ever been in before?
Yeah.
That's why, it's because the studs are bowed.
Lumber is not perfectly straight. We try to make it as straight as we can. So that's one of the ways we do that. And they usually just come in here and make a little notch and put a board and brace in there, and it kind of fixes it back in the spot where it's supposed to be. And then some of these orange spots on the concrete are just either high spots or low spots, and they'll come in and either grind it down or float it in with some self-leveler.
If you've ever seen any Weather Channel videos where tornadoes have came through homes and everything's gone except for these right here, these shoes, these are what? So this is a law thing, this is code. These are anchor bolts. Those up there on the rafters, those are called hurricane clips. Those are supposed to hold the roof down. 90% of the time it does.
It
does. Along with the strapping you see on the garage header, big long metal strap with a bunch of nails in it. That holds that header in place to the fender. All these trusses are engineered, like he was saying, that's another field you can go into. There's a whole factory that makes these trusses. They lay out the lumber, put these nail plates on rain, snow. There's different requirements for different areas of the state you're in. There's other coasts that have more wind up in the northern part, you have more snow, so they have to be designed differently. So there's a lot of stuff. Around a little bit, but we have plans that we give them, and this calls out pretty much every single measurement on here. I mean, it's from tubs to walls, garage openings, anything you can think of. Cabinets are laid out, what sizes they are. And then you got, shows the outside of the house. That'll be when siding goes up. Those guys will use that as a kind of plan to go by. But everybody gets a set of these. We use an online system where they can go on and pull multiple sets if they want to and print them out. And a little page on the front that tells you what options go in the house, because we have different options you can put in the houses. So that's another thing to check. What colors are going to go in the house. So this is kind of like the guidelines to building this house. And then,
So y'all don't go ahead and build any house and then put it on for sale. Y'all like have buyers who buy the land and then pick out like what kind of cabinets, strings that they want.
we do spec out homes too. Spec out means we just, put some options in there that we think people would want, and then when the house is done, they'll see it and they'll potentially buy it. But we also do build jobs where they can come in and buy that block over there and design everything. We give them a whole bunch of options. They can pick your color cabinets, siding, stone, brick, shingle color in certain areas, add extra concrete for the driveway, pretty much anything you think of. Add cabinets. It kind of depends on the area too. We let them do certain things in certain neighborhoods, and other neighborhoods they can only do a little bit of stuff.
Depends on the price.
Yeah,
So
it
the
just depends on the
neighborhood,
price of the
what's this
neighborhood.
neighborhood roughly?
I think it's
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe you're a little over 3.
That's what the website said. I think it's the location.
Yes.
Which before COVID,
Oh yeah.
probably more like 270s, give or take. Yeah. Just like with everything.
Do you guys still see like delays in materials getting here, and that process is slow?
That has luckily kind of went away. And Jeremy Powell, who was our kind of put a lot of together, he kind of spearheaded that through COVID. And although we had delays like other people, it was amazing the job that he did to make sure that it wasn't more than it could have been.
How did he do that?
Stockpiling windows,
Okay.
changing the tub manufacturer on a whim.
Finding
Yes.
different vendors, different suppliers to get material from.
Different paint. I mean, we couldn't get paint for a while. So now we have houses that, we did a year and a half ago where we used totally different paint, because if not, buyers have not been able to close and all that kind of stuff. So there was a good year there where it was touch and go for a while, but we got it done.
Nothing like any I've ever seen in my career. I'm an old guy.
I was in the upstate, so I moved divisions to the upstate, worked there for 2 years, and I came back with the same company. So up there, they're actually buying tubs on Amazon.
We saw windows, typically, you used to be able to get windows in 2 to 3 weeks, went to 16 weeks.
I think
So,
Went to 4 months every month.
I think cabinets were probably the worst thing that I had to deal with during COVID.
Cabinets are bad.
They were.
And this is, and what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of that went back on the builder. So a lot of that, we incurred those costs. Because you don't want to push that on the homeowner, and they wouldn't even appraise for that anyway.
That's what I was wondering, like when the price of timber skyrocketed, like y'all had to.
So
put your hand
framing,
over, y'all had to get out of
for
it.
an example, when it really first started to get kind of wild, our framing average material went up $20,000 a house. Our owner just incurred that cost. And you just don't push it off onto the homeowner, just business ethics. So you hope that one day it comes back to you. But yeah, that was all cost incurred by us. So,
If you had a contract signed, you got on with the
we got
contract.
on.
Yeah, I believe our lumber partner, you know, took some responsibility and tried to keep it within reason, and they also incurred a little bit of that, if I'm not wrong, or at least tried to. And
I mean, you almost had to, because if not, the industry would have collapsed. If you wouldn't take a hit on your profit, the industry would collapse. So.
the inspectors for the counties are trained on the job. They go through classes that the county or municipality pays for in order for them to get the qualifications they need to do their job. So they can do the job and get trained at the same time. They'll kind of shadow under an inspector that is already trained and is working out in the field and looking at these houses, and they'll train them while they're working with, you know, that person who's also showing them, you know, what to do out in the field. So a lot of jobs that do on-the-job training and are, you don't really need any kind of degree at all. Not saying that's a bad thing, but there's opportunities if you choose not to pursue a degree at all.
How much do inspectors get paid?
I mean, it's depending on the county, but like Lexington County is around 50. Town of Lexington, which is technically right beside Lexington County, I think they're like 60. So a lot of it depends on the municipality.
Two quick questions. How long does it take once you start the construction, not the development stage, to build a house like this? And then secondly, how long did it take to frame this house roughly?
Framing, we give them, I don't know how long Justin gives them, but I give them usually 10 to 15 days. And that's just based on the house. I mean, a smaller house, they can do it faster. A bigger house, it's gonna take a little bit more time. So you kind of have to figure out what kind of house you're building and how long it's gonna take them, but they usually give them about 10, 15 days. From the ground, from the pad up, again, I don't know how long he's doing his end because he's in a different county, but the one across the street over there, the White House, I think that one around 65, 70 days, and that was really going fast.
And I asked that question for a reason. When you go on a job site, you're generally going to see people moving pretty quick. It's a fast-paced job market out there. Like I said earlier, if you get your job done, some companies have incentives for getting it done quicker. But anyway, you'll be surprised. It always amazes me when you see a good framing crew how fast they work. They're almost running. They're not, but they're moving quick. And then the other issue is something to be, you still got to be safe. Safety is a big issue in the workplace. It's a tough industry. People can get hurt, so you got to have a safety mindset.
And even though, like me and Michael, we may make more money than those state workers, but they will get to retire a lot many years before us. So you don't have to have a college degree to make a good living and support your family.
I can't do nothing with you.
From Chapin to Lexington,
I can't do nothing with you.
just see what I've built and filled since time.
I like the problem solving. I've been doing this for a long time, so I like when problems arise. That may be kind of weird, and I know my bosses don't like when that happens. But for me, it just creates I guess more excitement. It's just trying to figure out something because it's you can build these and build a lot of them, and it can get mundane at times. So to come across something like doing a crawl space, I always get excited when I get to a crawl space foundation because you don't do a lot. It gets you kind of out of your comfort zone, It adds a form of continuing education somewhat, because you don't always do it. So that's why I like it. Makes it exciting. I like the whole job overall. I mean, this is what I do. But I just like the problem solving.
Every day is different, isn't it?
Everyone's every house is different.
You don't get bored. If you do, you're probably not working.
Whether it's different house plan or a different location where it's at. This spot right here is different from that spot over there because the grade is different. The house plan is different on the grade. So figuring out where all the water is going to go is tricky sometimes, but
And to know the why.
helps him.
If you can ever figure out knowing the why, that's the secret. It's easy to remember and learn how to do things, but if you can ever figure out the why on something that's done, that's the key. That's what makes it fun.
I think probably you could ask the same question to almost anybody in the industry and get similar answers. You know, it's a different challenge almost on a daily basis. You don't get bored. There's plenty to do, and I think you get a sense of fulfillment completing and seeing something like this when it's done, and the pride of being involved in it.
Seeing it, if you start a neighborhood from scratch and it's nothing but dirt and trees, if it's cleared, it's all dirt, no houses, barely any roads paved, nothing. You finish it and you ride through, and you've been in every single house, and if it's a 160 plus neighborhood, I just feel like a sense of pride riding through there and seeing all that.
I always say this, my dad always told me that 3 things you gotta have is food, water, and shelter. And we're in the shelter business, and it's a good thing. It's something to be proud of, to be involved in this industry.
There's going to be a little learning on the job that you can probably go into basically any trade, and they're going to teach you on the job, like I was explaining before.
Every trade you go into, you're going to have to start at the bottom. It's either a laborer or a trade helper or something like that. And even now, say an electrician, I would say a laborer, they're going to pay out anywhere between 10 and 12 bucks an hour. That's 24 grand a year.
Yeah.
So to, coming out of high school being 20, I know I didn't make $24,000 a year when I was 20. So and you kind of gotta get into it. And whether you believe it or not, one day you will be 30. Okay? One day you will be 40. So don't think that you have to start somewhere. And when you're 30, you're gonna look back and say, that guy Justin, he wasn't lying. When I started that, laboring at that thing, so it's kind of what I did. I had my first child and got married when I was 24, and I was old enough to realize that tomorrow I'm gonna be 30. So, and tomorrow you are gonna be 30. So you better start now. If you don't know what insulation is, that's what insulation is. And you gotta get that inspected. If that gets inspected, then we can start hanging drywall. And when's it getting inspected?
It's already been inspected.
So it's ready to hang drywall.
What is there, like 4 inspections or 5?
Framing, mechanicals, sheathing.
What do you got here, Lexington?
Yeah. Frame, mechanicals, sheathing, which is outside OSB. They gotta make sure it's nailed right.
Yeah. So by the time from ground up to this point, it's 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
4 and 5 total.
To this point, yeah. So you have 2 for the slab that we're standing on, and then you have what they call a sheathing inspection, so it's 5. What they call a sheathing inspection when they look at all the plywood on the outside, and then they have a rough inspection which looks at the rough mechanicals. That's why they call these rough mechanicals. It's just rough. They're not finished. And you have insulation inspection, so 5 just to get to this point.
And we also do an energy inspection. So we have an energy company that comes in and looks at the insulation as well, and they also do they pressurize or depressurize the ductwork? I think they pressurize the ductwork, check for leaks in the duct system, and they do it again at the final pressurized duct system, and they pressurize the house to see how much leakage the house is emitting to the outside. So that's something we do. I don't know if any other builder does that, but
Yeah, that's a federal law / state law thing. That's for energy efficiency.
And how long did it take to get to this point?
this one probably set in slab.
I wouldn't say this one. This
Yeah, it's,
not. I mean, in general, month and a half, probably. If it's a normal house, this one's set for a couple of reasons, but in general, it's probably a month and a half to get to this point.
I have to chuckle because when I look at that drywall, I still remember the first piece of 412 that I helped carry. You never forget that.
Oh yeah, I told a fib before. I've never put my hands on drywall. I've never hung drywall. I will never hang drywall.
What's the
So-
reason
That's the
why?
other thing I haven't done.
So awkward and heavy.
So
you just-
heavy, and you're doing this all day.
Yeah.
You're pressing it.
they have little like jack systems they use. They can put it
Yeah.
on there. And jack
If you're
it up.
hanging it by yourself or one other person.
There, but I have seen some pretty strong guys carry one piece and hang it by themselves, and it's. I mean, they're.
And they roll with it. They know how to do the drill and everything. Zoo, 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 zoo.
They'll probably hang this whole house
In a day.
yeah,
Yeah, they'll hang
not
it
even
in a
a
day.
day. Probably 3 or 4 guys will hang this house, and if they start at 7, they'll be
So
done
it's
at
passed?
4:12.
This already passed? I guarantee you if you'd have rolled through here Monday, heck, even maybe by the end of the day tomorrow, it would be hung. It would be drywall on it.
You know, it brings up another point when you were talking about the guy with the screw guns, but y'all heard the nail guns next door, and this is not your great grandfather's build a house with a hammer kind of deal anymore. You're using nail guns, pneumatic, nice tools. You need to learn how to use tools any chance you get, because that'll give you a heads up. If you go to work for somebody, if you know how to use tools, you're gonna progress quicker. And if you like to hunt or fish, or not so much fish, but if you like shooting a gun, you can use a nail gun every day and get all the shots in you want.
The guy I started framing houses with, he was not technologically sound. He did not let us use nail guns. So we had to frame with a hammer and nails. When we started using nail guns, I shot a nail in this finger. And that was kind of when I figured out I wanted to frame it.
For the house, we'll have a couple of QI checks that we do, quality control checks. One that our company does, one that I do, and then obviously the homeowner will get to come in when we have the orientation day, where we show them their house and show them all the features of it. And they'll get to put more tape on the wall, but I kind of do tape before, they'll do a final paint, and then I'll do a tape to show them spots. And then I'll do another tape for the homeowner walk orientation, so that we get it taped at least 3 times to find everything. And even then, there's still gonna be some spots that are probably missed, but it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to get it perfect. Even in custom homes that are $1 million, $2 million, you're gonna have spots that are not perfect.
Are most of your homes pre-bought, or is half and half?
We're predominantly spec driven.
Yeah.
You're what?
We're predominantly spec driven, which you want. So it's we mostly put a house out before it becomes contract.
Okay.
We'll build
Spec stands for speculative.
We're speculating somebody's gonna buy this thing.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been bought yet.
Yeah.
But this house has been bought.
this house. Has been bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And even though it may look good to y'all, you see all the blue tape. This is from Michael this morning, blue taping it. So you may not think it looks good.
How long does it take you to do the thing? Do a walkthrough?
this one, I was in here for 45 minutes, maybe an hour or something, and I could have been in here longer.
It's a lot of delay.
When I look, just standing right here, I see somebody, a subcontractor probably did the flooring, subcontractor, a different one probably did the decking, maybe a different one did the fireplace, a different one did the cabinets and the countertops, different one did the lighting. There's 5 or 6 different career path avenues right there that I just mentioned. So that's what we want to open your eyes up to, is all the different opportunities within the industry. And just about everybody needs help.
Yeah. Trim, paint, drywall guy, flooring, fireplace, electrical, plumbing, granite. We even have an appliance company that comes and installs our appliances. Speaker company comes, trims speakers out, puts the speakers in, does low voltage, deck guy, landscape guy.
I'll go ahead and do the fences too.
If
on those.
If we have a house that they want to put a fence on to help it sell, they'll put a fence on it. But most of the time, the buyer, they'll buy a spec house and put a fence on it. We'll add a fence to it.
So when we're talking about all those different things and different kinds of jobs, we, the Home Builders Association, can help you if you would like something specifically that you'd like to job shadow and see. If you think you would like that, we can help you do a job shadow with a deck building crew or a cabinet crew or whatever. But you need to get with Miss Candy.
I'm sure some of our guys wouldn't mind taking on some job shadow students either. They can reach out, give you, if you need any kind of subcontractor or something.
We did a job shadow for
Yeah.
a day a couple months ago.
I've done
10 people.
I think I've done like 3 this year. I did 1 for the Cade Center and 2 for Chapin High School.
Is there like a higher needed area, like trade area that y'all would need help with, or right now it just kind of vary, just kind of depends? Or are they all about the same?
They're probably all about the same.
Yeah,
They all need some
everybody.
help. Everybody needs help.
Yeah.